Big news for VGK as Kelly McCrimmon, the GM, fires Bruce Cassidy, the coach that brought a Stanley Cup to Las Vegas. Was it the right move? What do you think? We're getting your thoughts. It's all going down today on Sound Off Sports.
Make some noise. This is Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Silver State Schools Credit Union.
Welcome in to the Den for Sound Off Sports. I'm your host, Mike Davis, joined by my main man, James Everett Berkman, the fourth. Big show today, happening? James. We got a lot to get to, but we also have Nakobe Dean.
That's a huge get for us.
Like the new linebacker for the Raiders, 3-year, $36 million deal coming from my Philadelphia Eagles. He's now in Vegas, but he's been living here for a little bit. So we talk about that.
So I said it 100 times on this show, and I'll say it 100 more times. We only get the big dogs.
And he's a
on
dog.
This program. And he is a dog.
He went to Georgia.
A Georgia Bulldog.
Won the Dick Butkus Award there. Won it in high school as well. He also studied mechanical engineering in college as well. He had a 3.55 GPA. So we'll get into all that. But the big news right now that we got to break down. VGK GM Kelly McCrimmon firing head coach Bruce Cassidy, the guy who brought a Stanley Cup to Vegas with just 8 games left in the season. He fires him, brings in John Tortorella, recently with the Philadelphia Flyers for 3 years. We got your thoughts. We're going to be talking about that later on in the show. But, James, I'll have you take first crack at this because my thoughts are very simple, and I'll get to that. But I want to know what you had to think immediately on Sunday night when the news went down.
Okay, so my initial reaction was Bruce Cassidy did not deserve this, right? This is a man who has brought this organization their first and only Stanley Cup, and I think he deserved better than to be fired with 8 games remaining in the season. If you want to move on, he's earned the right to play out the rest of this season as head coach. However, that is how normal organizations operate. The Golden Knights are not a normal organization, and I'm not saying that in a derogatory fashion. What I'm saying is there an organization in American sports that does everything they can to win at all times in all facets, quite like the Golden Knights?
I mean, when you say it like that, it sounds good. You're making it sound attractive.
It borders unethical, right? Because the Pittsburgh Steelers, for example, the teams that I grew up watching, a revered, respected head coach, accomplished head coach, they would have earned the right to play out the rest of that season and go out on their own terms and mutually part ways. That is not how the Golden Knights operate, and it is not how they have ever operated. Gerard Gallant took this organization to the Stanley Cup in year 1.
Right.
And he got canned just 2 years later for Pete DeBoer, who had a great time in Vegas too. First time Pete DeBoer misses the playoffs, canned for Bruce Cassidy. The thing about it is, it seems to work for them.
Yeah.
As much as it can tick me off or you off or the fan base off or anybody else off in hockey, this sort of style has worked for them to this point.
Here's the thing, because it's the 4th head coach since their inaugural season, right? It worked. I mean, they shipped out DeBoer, and then Cassidy comes in, and he wins the Stanley Cup in his first season with VGK. Now, you're painting this picture where, hey, it works. Their first and foremost priority is winning. It has nothing to do about feelings. I think this is deeper than feelings. To me, I think he earned the right, the respect.
And I agree with you on that.
To play out the rest of the season.
Yes,
There's 8 games
I agree with
left.
you on that.
This isn't mid-season. This is 8 games left in the season. And let's be real. Even if they make the playoffs, it's going to be because of their division.
The weak Pacific Division, absolutely.
They're not going to do much.
They're going to make the playoffs, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they make the playoffs, and not a lot's going to happen. So they think, I mean, this whole move signals to me, McCrimmon said it yesterday, he feels that this team is competitive and can win, and that's why they're making this move. They're not making this move for, to change up a voice in the locker room with 8 games left just to see what happens. No, they think, hey, we need a new voice in the locker room, and we can actually contend and compete for a Stanley Cup if we get something else going here. So I understand you need a new voice sometimes, but this dude, Bruce Cassidy, he brought a Stanley Cup to Vegas. He was the guy who made it happen. Yeah, you mentioned Gallant, you mentioned Pete DeBoer. These guys did a good job. They probably shouldn't have been fired either.
All 3 of them have done a great job for the Golden Knights.
But one guy brought the cup here, and that's Cassidy, and he deserved the right to see it through for the rest of the season.
I totally agree with you on that.
And that's how I feel. But it is a complicated situation. It is great that we have an organization here that understands that winning is a priority, and if you're not winning, you're not relevant. And I think that's how they envision their cultural practices are like, hey, our inaugural season, we went to the Stanley Cup Finals, and we recognize there's an importance placed upon being relevant and being good. And if you're not, that's the worst case possible. So I guess they just look at it differently. I think you and I have a different historical kind of approach, an old-ish mentality when we think certain things should be sacred.
Me and my husband were watching how we were playing this year, and we just knew the way that the owner is that they were going to get rid of him. We hoped it wasn't going to be the case, but it looks like with this owner, if we're not doing good, rather than looking at it being everybody together, they go after and fire the coach. Anyway, we don't think it's right.
All right, thank you so much for that call, 702-855-3502. We always love to hear your thoughts, your feelings. Make sure you give us a call. James, the funny thing is, a lot of this, to me, isn't even just VGK-centric. It's an ism of the NHL. The NHL, there's a lot of coaching movement constantly. I feel like
recycled head coach.
Recycled. I mean, this is Tortorella's 7th team. I mean, he's been with almost every organization. So I feel this is almost a symptom of the NHL more so than even VGK. It just seems like there's a lot of recycling. There's a lot of like, hey, we're moving off you. There's the sentimental value of things is different, I think, in the NBA and definitely in the NFL.
I don't know, because a lot of teams would kill to have the success the Golden Knights have had since their inception. A lot of teams would still have Gerard Gallant as their head coach. The way the Golden Knights operate is so fascinating to me because it borders ruthless, right? Like, anybody, and it's not like they're going to have a hard time finding a head coach. Anybody would kill to have the Golden Knights head coaching job. But man, you are constantly looking over your shoulder, and to the point that our caller made, we all kind of, in the back of our head, we're like, oh boy, they're losing. How much longer does Bruce Cassidy have? Because we've seen the history and the pattern of how quickly they move off of things in the past. I didn't think, with his credibility he's built up with the Stanley Cup, that he wouldn't last the regular season. So this is crazy to me. We got to head to break, but I don't think Bruce Cassidy deserved to be fired midseason.
100% no. Coming up, we got more on this topic. That's after a short break. Welcome back to Sound Off Sports. Mike Davis here with you. James Edward Barrickman IV. We're talking VGK. We're talking the firing of Bruce Cassidy. We're not in love with the move. We feel like he should have been able to ride this one out. Ride out the rest of the season. 8 more games left. Of course, John Tortorella comes in, wins game 1 as the first time as a head coach with VGK. It's his 7th franchise he's been the head coach of. James, I know you got a lot of feelings on this issue. To me, listen, at the end of the day, it comes down to the players executing on the ice. Cassidy did bring that Stanley Cup here. I'm not in love with not giving him the opportunity to play this out, but what's the rest of your feelings on this matter?
I don't understand why Tortorella, of all people, why was Tortorella right now the better option than Bruce Cassidy? Maybe just to try and shake things up and crap to the roster that they feel is Stanley Cup level.
He didn't do anything of note. Worthiness
since like 2004.
Right. I mean, he won a title with Tampa, but the past 3 seasons in Philly were not pretty.
No, and what is interesting is Tortorella going to be the guy long term after this? Because when they fired Gallant in January 2020, they hired Pete DeBoer mid-season, and he went on to have 3 seasons, successful seasons, as Golden Knights head coach. And I just want to go back to the point of, and think about this with me here. Is there any American professional sports franchise that operates quite like the Golden Knights do? I mean, where people say they're doing everything they want, everything they can to win, but the Golden Knights actually do it.
You're going to laugh because I have a personal connection to this, but when I saw this, the first franchise I thought of was the Philadelphia Eagles. Because
the Eagles are similar.
They moved off Doug Peterson after
Super Bowl.
The only Super Bowl ever, in the city of Philadelphia, which is a massive thing for the franchise that ranks top amongst all the franchises in that city. So they moved off him quick. And in the city of Philadelphia, even with Hurts delivering a Super Bowl, even with Sirianni having like the best head coaching winning percentage since Lombardi or something ridiculous. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's close. It's constantly, oh no, are they about to be fired? Is Hurts going to lose the starting quarterback job? Is Sirianni going to be, because Howie Roseman and Lurie, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, they just operate under a different rhythm, a different pretense. So to me, I feel like that's one of the few organizations that operate similarly.
That compare, and like the Eagles, with the Golden Knights, nobody is safe. Nobody is out of the question, maybe except Kelly McCrimmon, apparently. But, they will trade Marc-Andre Fleury, who was a massive fan favorite, huge part of the Cup run in year 1, Vezina Trophy winner. They will land the big fish in Jack Eichel. They'll make all the deadline deals and manipulate the LTIR with Mark Stone or whoever's hurt at the time to do so. And they will do everything. They will push boundaries, bend the rules a little bit to give themselves an edge. And I don't think anybody does it quite like the Golden Knights. And whether or not you feel like Bruce Cassidy deserved to be fired or deserved to finish out the season, which I think he did, you have to acknowledge that, holy cow, nobody is trying to win and nobody wants to win quite like the Golden Knights organization.
No, I think you're 100% right. It's a fascinating it's a fascinating thing to just study the situation of how they operate. And I like your take on that, because I think more so than anything, it's just interesting to see their commitment to winning.
Yeah. It's every deadline. They're landing the big fish.
Right.
They're making room for it.
It's hard to say negative things about that. It's
because they win.
So it's a weird thing. But let's get to this, because let's bring up this graphic right now. Let's see the responses, James, we got from the people at home, the people on social media, and what they thought about the move. We asked whether VGK should have fired head coach Bruce Cassidy, the man who brought a Stanley Cup to Vegas. What were the results?
So we had a little over 60% of Golden Knights fans said that Bruce Cassidy did not deserve to be fired. So medieval maniacs on the side of Bruce Cassidy in this instance.
Okay, well, we'll see what happens with John Tortorella at the helm. But guys, guess what? Speaking of the Philadelphia Eagles, a former Philadelphia Eagle is joining me in the den next. Nakobe Dean, the linebacker who just signed with the Las Vegas Raiders for 3 years and $36 million. Nakobe Dean joins me in the studio next.
You're watching Sound Off Sports, sponsored by Silver State Schools Credit Union.
All right, it's a big day here in the den for Sound Off Sports. Mike Davis. We got the brand new prize of free agency. We got Tyler Linderbaum. We got Quay Walker. We got all these guys, but Nakobe Dean. This is the dude I wanted here in Las Vegas. 3 years, $36 million contract coming from Philly.
Yeah.
The UGA kid. He's now here in Vegas. But Nakobe, you already lived in Vegas. Is that true?
Yeah, I had some roots here. I've been coming out here since I got drafted to train in the off season for the most part. So yeah.
Wow. So we got the brand new Raider linebacker here. I want to get into your whole story, but tell me how this all played out, because obviously, you know, in Philadelphia, you did a lot of great things, but I think at 25, you still haven't even reached your potential. Why Vegas? How did this all come together? Because I read somewhere you said you prayed about it. You had a gut feeling.
Sure.
You thought this was all going to happen, silver and black, Nakobe
I
Dean?
mean, I didn't know. You know, it was my first time kind of going to free agency. I hear crazy stories about free agency all the time, so it was just like we didn't necessarily know exactly what spot we was going to go to, but it got down to signing day, and it just kind of we just started narrowing it down. And like I said, I prayed on it, and then Vegas was just kind of my gut feeling. And I like what they was building. I like everything that the defense coordinator was talking about, Spy was talking about, everything. So it felt like a great fit.
It's pretty cool because in Philly you had a whole doghound there between Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Keely Ringo, all these guys from Georgia, right? Now you come here, Quay Walker comes from Green Bay. He's going to be with you. You guys used to room together on the road. How surreal is that?
That is great feeling, actually, being able to play with Quay. Kind of, it'll be interesting to see kind of how we have grown in our game the last 4 years, and us coming together. Probably the best that we have been since we played together. So I'm excited for it.
When you were in Philly, because I think a lot of people say, hey, you know what? You go to the league after playing in college, and you got to learn all these new teammates. You got to develop chemistry with people. Having that, is it going to be a huge factor for you to actually have almost like a telepathy? You guys know each other. You used to watch film after practice together.
Yeah.
So is that going to help to a really crazy degree?
Yeah, I think it will help. It'll make it easier for us right away to hold each other accountable right away. I feel like we should always, I would say easier, because I feel like everybody should hold each other accountable anyway, right off the bat. But when you got a relationship with somebody,
it gives you that bandwidth to test them a little.
Exactly, right away. And I know I kind of know me and Quay's relationship. We feed off each other. So I know if it's one night he finna go home and he kind of walk by the room and he see me in there, he gonna stop in there and watch his film with me, and vice versa. So we kind of feed off each other, and we push each other to be better.
It's crazy what you accomplished at Georgia. I want everybody to understand this, because not only from Horn Lake, that's where your high school was at, you were the Butkus Award winner in high school.
Yeah, I was.
Then you were a Butkus Award winner at Georgia. You won the College Football Playoff National Championship. That team was so loaded. All the guys you had there. But I love the fact that you were also a mechanical engineering student with a 3.55 GPA.
Yeah.
How are you doing all this at the same time?
It was tough. I ain't gonna lie. It was tough. I'm not gonna sit here and say it was the easiest thing, but I feel like
that's like 3 full-time jobs.
Yeah, I feel like when it came down to it, it was like when you want to do something, you're gonna get it done. And it's all about perspective. Anybody can say, man, that's a lot, that's too much and everything, but I feel like how you view what you do is how you do what you do. So it's like, at the end of the day, I wanted to get it done. I viewed it as just an opportunity to we hit on my Kind Hearts for Life foundation a little bit. I try to push encouragement and belief in the next generation.
Yeah.
So I feel like when it come down to it, it's like I feel like if I'm able to go to school, be a D1 athlete, major in mechanical engineering, but also have a social life where I was able to pledge a fraternity and everything like that.
All right, thanks so much to the great Nakobe Dean for our full conversation. Go to our YouTube page, Silver State Sports. Well, what do they say, James? Every time Duke loses, baby smiles. Is that what they? I'm joking.
I think every time Duke loses, America wins or something. Yeah.
Duke basketball losing in the Elite Eight to UConn, and our guy, Coach Hurley. Man, we love
What a psycho, but I love him. Absolute psychopath, but I love him.
Most college basketball coaches are psychos, though. Like, that's sports specifically, more even than football. Like, college basketball coaches are nuts.
Yes. I think if you're a great coach in any sport, you have to have a little bit of a screw loose. That's
What?
just.
So wait, I want to know, because I didn't even notice this. I was so just flummoxed by the whole and just amazed by the shot from Mullins, from the logo, all that. But then Hurley getting in the referee's face?
I can't believe you didn't see this on social media after. So I was driving back from Phoenix this weekend. I couldn't watch the game. I just got a bunch of texts, and then
you missed the game of
So I
all
missed
time.
one of the greatest March Madness games of all time. But what I didn't love, I don't know if I loved, but it was so Dan Hurley. Shot goes down from the logo with .4 left. Dan Hurley celebrating with his staff. His jacket nearly comes off. He's elated.
And then, like, on a dime.
He
He's
makes contact with the referee. And he gets into his little Dan
And
Hurley.
he puts his
and
dome.
he gets forehead to forehead with the referee, and the referee didn't tee him up.
Yeah, I gotta say.
The referee knew the moment, but
Props?
I mean, that should have been a tech.
Props to the referee for not ruining that moment. I don't know.
I mean,
I
but
don't
Dan
know
Hurley,
that-
you got to be smarter than that.
I don't know that referee's name, but give him a round of applause for not ruining the moment. Because in 2026, that could have easily happened. I say Farhead. You say forehead. I know.
Well, it's an O.
I
Not
know.
an A.
I'm from New Jersey. I say Farhead. But listen.
It busted my bracket though. I had a Duke Arizona final.
Oh.
And I was that close, a major Duke collapse from maybe winning a lot of money.
I liked it. Coach Hurley and the Huskies going for 3 national championships in 4 years. Pretty insane stuff. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. 702-855-3502. I want to thank N'Kobe Dean for joining me here in the studio, but always give us a buzz. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We'll see you next time from the Den for Sound Off Sports.